All right, kids, we got ourselves a bit of a leg workout happening here today. We got Lexi over yonder, straight from Texas, baby.
Yes.
But Boise bred and born?
Actually, military brat. Was in Boise for 6 years. And then, yeah.
So from all over the shop then?
All over, mostly the South, and then kind of settled here for a little bit. But
Okay, all right, she wants the fast life and I want the slow life, so I'm staying put. But it's gonna be fast life today because we're hitting legs. We're gonna be starting with hamstrings because I was like, damn, look at those quads. She's gonna be burying me here first. So we're gonna start off with a posterior chain. We're gonna do lying hamstring curls. Then we're gonna go on to the stiff leg deads with that west side barbell, like belt squat, and get some isolation there because my hamstrings are a little bit weak and my knees a little bit dodgy, hence why we're gonna go high repetitions and kind of pre-fatigue the hamstrings a little bit first. So we'll start pre-fatiguing with the hammies and then we're gonna go straight on the stiffies over yonder. Ready to rock and roll? There you go, easy. Good job. All the pressure through the heels. That's it, drive those hips back. As you can see, her hips are going back and then she's pulling them forward to ensure that the hammies are doing the work and not the lower back. So always drive it back and then forward as opposed to when you're bending over doing a traditional deadlift. Nice, nicely done.
Whew.
That's gonna be harder for you because I haven't been yet. All right, so the one thing, a lot of people don't stretch in between sets. I don't know if you do because they do say that you can kind of weaken the muscle in between sets. I just want to stay injury free. My hamstrings get very, very tight. So I like to stretch between the sets just a little bit. And it's a justification to get a little rest, you know.
Good.
Nice and easy, control it at the top. That's it, good. Yeah, good. Fucking powerhouse. Good. Yeah. Go, girl. Good. Keep it tight now. This is your money set. Make it happen. Yes, good, strong. Awesome. Damn. Don't fuck around with her. Good set. Kicking ass. So you noticed here we did these 1.5 repetitions there, just so you can kind of keep the tension applied and really focus on the belly of the muscle. Because a lot of us will use our tendons, go down a little bit fast, go up, use the momentum at the top and not get the full contraction. I just find you do that every now and again. It just helps you become a little bit stricter with those repetitions, you know, and obviously being a posterior chain muscle, it's not something that you see in the mirror and sometimes a little bit more difficult to develop when you don't see it, you know. It's my opinion anyway. All right. As a bit of a transition now, before we go from hamstrings to quads, we will work both the hamstrings, the glutes, and the quads by just doing some walking lunges now. I like this. I start it with no weight, just warm up, get the synovial fluid into the joints, and then add a little bit of weight. But again, it's not heavy, it's just walking, man. It's a walk in the park. Just a little bit of volume. Bit of a cardio workout there, going back and forth. But it's good. I think it's very good when you push up the intensity, and that doesn't mean just heavy weight, and it doesn't mean just volume, but I think the combination of a heavier weight and volume and kind of shorter rest periods creates trauma in itself to get growth, if that makes sense. So, you know, growth comes in many ways, shapes and forms. And as you get a little bit longer in the tooth, a little bit older, I think going higher repetitions with shorter rest periods is a smart way to go. Just so you have a little bit of longevity in this. Because we're all immortal when we're younger, innit? But then when mortality starts kicking in, as you get a little bit older, you've got to get a bit creative. I'm going to take it to 50. You got this. You're in the zone. You're in the zone. Funny how we love it so much, but I think sometimes a lot of people that come into this looking for aesthetics or the physical success of this are doing it all wrong. When you actually get the therapeutic benefits of it, the aesthetics come automatically. It's just a byproduct of the purpose and the passion that you feel for working out and just challenging yourself. Like, how many people could say to themselves, I feel like I succeeded at something today? Not many people, but everybody has that opportunity. You just got to take advantage of it. And I think, much like some people get that runner's high, it's not until you actually find a way of getting into that zone that you could relate and other people could understand. So you have to just get in it and be consistent with it, and it'll come until you're addicted and you can't live without it. You know, it's that pivotal foot. Yeah, you may do other sports and you may do other things, but your pivotal foot has to stay in here. That's where it's all at. Anyway, what do you think of this workout? Like, so there's a lot of people, they'll be watching this and going, well, I'm a woman, I can't train like a guy. I'm a guy, I can't train like a woman. Like, what's your perspective of men and women training similar, but it all comes down to the goals and the weaknesses and the strength that you want to work?
You know, I think girls and guys could train very similarly. I mean, especially a wellness girl, right? I'm an ex-wellness girl now, but if I was training like this, just like how Kris is, I know I'd seen exponential growth just pushing the volume and pushing the weight. And just because maybe you're male doesn't mean that I can't be pushing and having the same work ethic and intensity, really. Yeah. It's going to help me with my goals. I don't understand girls who set limits for themselves or ceilings for themselves. You definitely don't need to do that. Really, I don't really know what to say. Got to raise the bar, and sometimes it takes someone to push you through it too.
Yeah, I think that's right. You know, like, you all thrive off it. Like, yeah. I train by myself the majority of the time, but when you're training with somebody, whether it's a beginner, whether it's advanced, whether it's a male or female, of course there's a little bit of competitiveness, of course there's a little bit of accountability, and it creates a little bit of sense of urgency, so you tend to push yourself a little bit harder. I think when you gain that familiarity with somebody that could be a training partner over many months or maybe years, you could pull yourself back, possibly. So I think it's good for everybody to kind of swap it up and maybe show your vulnerability if you're not somebody that socializes, but to get into these workouts every now and again, and you always learn, and that's the one thing I love about this, is that you always learn something to apply. You know, whether you find it on Instagram or in person, you know. A lot of people use things like social networks, social networking, just like reality TV, just bullshit. But sometimes you find some real good nuggets, you know, and you go, fuck, I'm training legs tomorrow, I'll do that.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And it kind of gets back to what we were talking about earlier, about how you're going to morph into who you surround yourself with. So I always say, like, you know, pick your workout partner very carefully. And I mean, seeing your intensity, that's definitely going to level it up when I do it by myself. And then, for example, if I have a client come around, I'm going to want to show up and prove to them how it's supposed to be for them. So really, if you're with someone who is still in the developing stages or still like me, but maybe they're still on the road up to you, you're going to show up even more for them. And then I am going to look up to people like Kris and morph into as much as I can with him. And just, it's a growing, you know, rapid ball of that. So
yeah, don't turn up with a mohawk tomorrow, though. Red-colored mohawk. That's pushing the boundaries a little bit. But yeah, I don't think there is a right way or wrong way of like training. You got to find what kind of works for you, what pushes you, you know, what you enjoy. Like, you know, I used to train with Dorian Yates, and I loved training with him, but I realized after a while that wasn't my style of training, and then started training with people like Flex and Branch, and just seeing how much volume they would push, like a lot of repetitions, especially in like Metroflex and that Texas heat. It's like, oh my God. But it was like a cardio workout. I'm like, okay, so it doesn't have to be like that. It could be like this, or it could be something in between. Whatever suits you, you know, whatever fuels you. Yeah, so there you go. Lovely little post-workout send-off there. So speaking of which, going to have our post-workout shake now and crawl outdoors by our lips. But thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Let's do it again.
yes, yay. Upper body next time.
Yeah, I'm down with that.